Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how I would build a funnel to generate an extra 10 clients in the next 100 days if I was an independent financial advisor. So first thing we need to do is clearly map out our funnel and what our plan is. So we have Joe here. Joe is an independent financial advisor. He's been featured in City AM, Financial Times Advisor, and Money Marketing. And he wants to connect with founders who have liquidity but no tax efficient plan. So his ICP are founders who have exited their business. What we first want to do is really understand what it is kind of we're working with. So we go really in detail into understanding our client. So we build a client knowledge base. So Future Proof is going to be a newsletter that we're going to use as our top of funnel to get people in with no commitment. And if anything, they'll gain a ton of value from Joe as opposed to Joe kind of gaining value from them, at least to begin with. And the whole idea of this is that essentially people will come in, get the content and the free value from Joe, realize he knows what he's talking about, be closer, kind of move closer towards becoming a founder with exit liquidity, and then have Joe in the back of his mind at all times to understand that, okay, cool, I have all this money, what can I do with it now? So Future Proof will basically be a financial digital media company that's going to aim to modernize and disrupt the traditional financial services industry. So the primary goal for Joe is to educate and build trust so that founders are equipped basically for post-exit phase of their entrepreneurial journey. So what are his business objectives? They're to build trust and clarity. It's to educate founders, ultimately generate high intent leads, to challenge and modernize the outdated approach in the financial industry, and to differentiate Joe through a psychologically informed modern advisory style, which really kind of pushes him apart from the traditional old guys in suits. Who are his target audience? Really, we have a primary persona. Joe is fantastic at what he does, so he can help any sort of high net worth individual or someone with a lot of liquidity. However, his ICP are business founders, people who are high growth entrepreneurs, nearing or having completed a business exit. So we really need to understand the key characteristics of these people to understand how they tick, what psychological frames we should be kind of targeting, and also what kind of funnel would best kind of work for them. So really, they've likely devoted their life to building this business, which is often at the cost of personal well-being or relationships. They will tend to see their business as their only investment, and they would have neglected personal finance strategies. They likely would have struggled with tax inefficiencies because they've been rapidly growing and likely needed, couldn't afford at the time, or just simply not thought about having advisory support. And they are often unprepared for their post-exit capital allocation, so they've basically got no structured guidance. And ultimately, they want to seek structure, clarity, and long-term strategic thinking. Now, understanding these people and their key characteristics is one thing, but understanding actually what their pain points, what keeps them up at night, is really the most important. And really, it's the lack of diversified investment strategies beyond their business, right? It's poor tax planning pre and post exit. It's unclear direction for managing liquidity after a business sale. It's disrupt or disinterest in the traditional financial advisory services, especially with the rise of younger entrepreneurs with substantial exits. And typically, they'll be overwhelmed by the complex tax or financial regulations. Here, we just have some brand voice and some tone guidelines, which are important, but I won't bore you with that. Also, same with the content themes and the strategic kind of products. However, understanding that they'll be providing strategic financial advice, tax optimization strategies, and education around alternative investment classes is really key to what we're about to build. Also, a bit of a section about Joe and the primary call to actions. So this is all really important, but it's only important as a knowledge base, like outlined. We really need to use all of this to build a landing page structure where we've got above the fold outlined, what you'll get section, why this matters now, who's behind it, some social proof, some key risk reversals, and a soft call to action. And then I've kind of got a few different variations here where I've taken my copy and run it through ChatGPT and other LLMs. So really the key point will be this funnel map. We want to have step one as an opt-in page. We want the goal to be capturing the first name and email. The call to action will be start future-proofing your exit today. All we care about is their first name and email at this point. Once they submit, we're going to trigger step two, which will be question-based logic. Step two will ask them, are you a founder? Because that is obviously his key ICP. You'll have two options, yes or no. If no, a follow-up question, which will be a text input, will say, thanks for being here. What best describes your current role or background? And then they'll be able to just put in open text. And then the submission will tag a user as a non-founder subscriber, show a thank you message, and also it will incite them to or redirect to the book a call page. Then it will end the flow. Now, if yes, they'll say, what best describes your current stage? Are you building? Are you a startup? Are you looking to exit, or have you already exited? And then it will tag the user accordingly. And then it will show a personalized thank you message based on a segment you're in. And then we'll make sure that the newsletter basically hits differently. So it will say, non-founder will be non-founder subscriber, we found a building, etc., etc. And then there will also be redirected to a call booking page. So how does this actually look in practice? Well, the newsletter opt-in page will happen, then the conditional logic that we just spoke about, then they'll go to a thank you page for a call option, and at the same time they'll get a thank you for subscribing email, and then they'll go for a welcome sequence where they'll get day 1, which will be the origin story of Future Proof and basically what to expect. Then days 2 to 5, they'll get high performing issues, case studies, or founder dilemmas. Then day 6, they'll get a soft pitch to invite them to book a strategy call if they haven't already. And then every Tuesday, which is the cadence that Joe wants to go with, they'll get an issue of Future Proof. And what we've done here is we've mapped out a low fidelity wireframe essentially, where we've put in the copy and roughly how it's going to look, at least from a web perspective. Now we actually want to build this and make this real life. So we're going to head over to Perspective, my preferred funnel builder, and we're going to click on New Funnel. We're going to pick the template that best suits what we're trying to achieve. So, we've got strategy calls, we've got a health quiz, we've got live webinar, we've got school VSL even, a VSL for a demo. We've got loads of different options here. But what we're going to do is the most like what we're trying to do, I would imagine, is a lead magnet. Although it's obviously not a lead magnet, you can go through and see how these work. So we're going to start with this template. Perfect. So we've got a load of different things here that we can start adding in. Firstly, we want to put in an image of Joe and his icon. So we're going to swap this out by adding media. So we first want to swap out the top bit here, and we want to put a bit of information about Joe. So we're going to pick a nice picture of Joe. We're going to remove this guy, and we're going to remove this. So we're going to say Joe Akik, and then we're going to go over to his LinkedIn. And we're going to, so he's a wealth manager for Capital Planning Partners. So see how easy it is just to type over what's existing on this funnel from this template. We also want to put in his company logo instead of him. And we're going to make that, we can keep it small. We want to center it. And we want to make sure that it's in the brand colors, which is nice and dark. So we can pick this color palette here. We can go over, we can say, we can use the color palette here. So I'll play around with this color and I will kind of fix it all afterwards. We want to do that. And then we can see we've said over here, you've exited your business. Now it's time to future-proof what comes next. You've exited the business. Now it's time to future-proof what comes next. Nice. And we just drag and drop, like look how easy this is. And we want to say, we want to use the same call to action, start future-proofing your exit today. Start future-proofing your exit today. Get free access. Just put get free access here. Okay. Now this would be a nice use of picture, but we want to put in our social proof a little bit higher up so you can see as seen reported. So I don't need this section. So I don't want this particular section here. I'm going to remove this column. And as you can see, as seen in and reported about, we can say trusted by 1,000+ founders and as featured in. Might want to put that separately, but for now I'm going to keep trusted by 1,000+ founders as featured in. I'm going to go over to this logo bar, if it lets me click it, and we're going to add in some of our own media, which is money marketing. Get rid of all of that. Money talk, money marketing, financial advertiser app. So I think I'm going to need to just go and remove these backgrounds quickly. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, perfect. So I've removed the backgrounds and I'm going to go in and add them. Of course, we could make these however we'd like. Oh, it would be helpful if I put in the right one. Then like that. Okay, so now we've got our social proof and we can make those as big or as small as we like. Bigger the better. And right now, we could even completely remove this header if we'd like, but of course, it's doing quite a good job so far. But let's just say we did want to, hide this logo for now. There's loads of stuff we could do here. Okay, we could put rated 5 stars or trusted by X amount of people. But yeah, let's just make this small and we can hide this for now so that the first thing they see is all of this. And as we come down, what else do we want them to see? Well, exactly what founders like you receive on a weekly basis. And as you can see, I'm really not changing this at all. I'm just basically taking out the text and essentially keeping the exact same structure. And what's also really cool about Perspective is it's mobile first. So anyone who's built websites or any sort of landing pages before, you will know that things are typically desktop enabled and then you switch to mobile, or it's built desktop first and you optimize for mobile. That's the old way. Now 80% of all kind of user actions are done on mobile, so it's super important that this is properly set up, especially if you're trying to be running paid traffic, which is what we want to be eventually doing. So exactly what founders like you receive on a if I could spell that'd be fantastic. Exactly what founders like you receive weekly. And then what we want to do is basically put in tactics that decode the blind spots that sabotage smart founders post exit. And we might want to see if there's anything tactic related here. Probably not. Strategy. So maybe we'll use something like that. And then we say, see how others structure their capital after selling. See how others structure their capital after selling from real stories and numbers. And then here, money, be a good one. Build your own personal strategy without jargon or overwhelming information. This is super important for everyone, but particularly someone who's just exited their business for multiple millions. Own personal strategy, overwhelming information. Perfect. I quite like that icon there. Get tools and invites to deep dive Q&As only for subscribers of Futureproof. Fantastic. And then let's just go up here. Let's reduce this text just slightly, maybe to extra large, and we'll reduce some of the space underneath just so we keep it nice and concise. Perfect. And then maybe an invite. Is there a mail icon? There we go. Perfect. So we could build this in as well. So let's put in a nice picture of Joe. I'm going to grab one and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just taken a few nice pictures from his LinkedIn. I'm not sure if you'll want these on the actual funnel. And then the pictures are coming in now. So as you can see, we could put, something like that, or something with him nice and suited and booted. So let's just recap. You've exited the business. Now it's time to future-proof what comes next. Weekly insights from founders navigating post-exit capital, clarity and control without the noise. Put in your information below and get free access. First name, email address, then call to action, start future-proofing your exit today. Trusted by 1,000+ founders as featured in, and gives all the features. Exactly what founders like you receive weekly. gives 4 things. All we have to do if we want to add in new sections is just come to this plus, click new block, and then pick what kind of block you want. So look, you can see here, there's a nice about us section basically already built for us. We've also got quizzes, we've got team, we've got testimonials, trust, all built out for us. Or you can just have basic blocks, like all I need right now is a list, because I've got my list here, and I'm just going to place it, and I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to move it up here. So if any of this sounds familiar, and then I'm going to put in my text. It would be useful if I had a font color that was readable, right? I should be doing more with my money. I'm still holding cash in my personal account from the exit. I'm going to make that text dark as well. And there's no real structure, just a big number sitting in there in the bank account. Must be nice, right? Then we figure this all out. And again, we can just put some emojis, or you don't have to put any emojis if you don't want. And then all we do is, we don't need this fourth section, remove. Let's put maybe a thinking. Still holding my cash. There's no real structure, so we can build bricks maybe. That's it. Okay, if this sounds familiar, and then look, I want another text block, so I'm going to duplicate text, and I'm going to move that underneath, because what I'm going to say is, if that's you, then future-proof is for you. Of course, this copy can be changed and whatnot. If that's you, future-proof is for you. Cool, perfect. And then we want another call to action that says, start future-proofing your exit today. Super important we have a good use of call to actions throughout. So we're going to come back down. We want a call to action right there, but we also could just take a basic block, and then we can move that button up here. It's going to be white again and disappear. Bear with me. Let's just say we want the button color to be this, and we want exactly the same. I'm going to make it the same color, but just for argument's sake, just to avoid this video being too long. And then we can just build this out, this all in again into one block, again just for the sake of this, of simplicity. Okay, so we want to actually again make it a readable color. Talk about Joe, the founder-focused advisor behind Future-Proof. He's here to offer structure optionality, perfect. And we can add just another, more so just to make Joe seem like a real person. Like, you have to remember that financial advisors, a big part of it is being a very personable business. Cool. And that is that section. Now we could add in some social proof, kind of testimonials, which I'm going to use one of our blocks for down here. Let's just say this one here. Perfect. I'm going to accept that. And then what I'm going to do is what our customers say. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to move this up here. And I'm just going to adjust it. I'm just going to keep what our customers say, remove that. And then again, I've just got Laura Epsom text here. So I'm going to actually leave this as just kind of dummy testimonials for now. Maximilian, Philip, and Laura really love perspective from their testimonials. Okay, and then the final thing we want to do is actually rebuild the same section we've already used above. So I'm actually just going to delete all of this for now. And I'm going to go back up here. And I just want this section again. So I'm going to duplicate this column, and then I'm going to drag it all the way back down here. and I am going to duplicate the layout here. Again, drag it all the way down here. And I've just built a landing page in 10 minutes that would cost thousands. Of course, the colors need to be adjusted slightly. I'm just going to make this white. Let's see if that ruins my entire design. Ultimately, a mobile optimized page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to view it. Wow. Fantastic. Now it's on to what happens when someone submits. So when someone submits, we want them to go to step 2, which is this personalization. So let's just say, just a quick question to customize your experience. Are you a founder? And then we only want, are you available? That's not a problem with me. It's yes, I am. Actually, no, let's just keep it nice and simple. Yes, no. Just keep it nice and simple. Okay, perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to go back to my planning doc, and what best describes your current stage? Get these in. What best describes your current stage? Are you building with a brick? Now we have the question, are you a founder? Now we have the question, what best describes your current stage? We actually want to send all of the results to a single book a call page. Okay, I'll be 2 seconds whilst I write up some copy. We're just going to have some super simple copy. First name, which will be dynamic based on what they submitted. Ready to bring structure to what you've built. If you're a founder, sitting on capital post exit, or will simply benefit from some strategic tax planning. This, and then we'll just do our dash. This 30-minute call is for you. Secure your, book your free consultation today. And then obviously that would then go to a Calendly link, which would embed, and then we'd have a video of Joe here, and then we could re-show the social proof here. Okay, so that is exactly how I would build a high converting funnel that would get me my next 10 clients in 100 days from cold traffic. My preferred method is paid ads, but not only will you get loads of people join a mailing list, which you could then monetize at a later date, you'd have key insights into your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and you also entice them to book a call. And let's just say your closing rate is 25%. You literally just need 40 people to kind of book a call with you through this funnel, and you'd have your next 10 clients. So if you like this video, would appreciate you giving a subscription. You can get a 30-day free trial of Perspective down below.